since this is MNIT, I have to talk about what happens here or what should happen here. I just need, yeah. Oops. The next one, yeah. So this is one of the report, and there are millions of reports that comes in perspective in India all across. This one, whatever it reads, I am definitely not going to that. But what it definitely says is, across all degrees, and the funniest part is across all professional degrees, what is happening is, the recruiters are not finding people employable enough. I have some of the greatest institutions behind my name, but then I still do not understand. I'm still trying to understand. So when this kind of a picture, this kind of a story or a news comes, I have to look into what is going wrong. We all have to actually. The focus is absolutely on getting a degree since, as I described earlier, it is all throughout running through the curriculum of 4 years, 3 years, or 5 years. A student who is in 4th year of BTech, barely he recognizes what exactly did he studied in his or her 3rd semester. Definitely he will not be recognizing anything from the 4th or 5th semester at all. Why? Because this is the time when he was exercising his own self the lot. So if I have to adjudicate a student after his 8 semesters or 10 semesters of BTech or IDD, that whether the person is employable enough or not, it definitely could not be banking upon or based upon his degree. Because in the process of connecting your dots right from step 1, that was 1st semester, when you were touched to close of the preparation that you had done for the examination, and you were a studious person, and then studying for 3 days for end sems and 2 days for mid sems, and this is all related to your getting a 7 or 8 or 9 or 9.5 of CGPA, without actually recognizing how the knowledge earned could be connected together into knitting something different, creating something else. This definitely does not happen. Now, we need to fairly understand what happens here is that I said that a degree since could be leading to a job but never to happiness. Let us go back to a recent report that has come up. According to the 2017 Global Innovation Index report, it is said that the total number of engineers passing out in India is a fraction of almost 1/4 to 1/5 of the total population of Switzerland. That's a very sizable population. India, of course, when we talk about India, everything is going to be a gigantic number. So the total number of engineers who are passing out in India every year as a BTech is almost 1/4 to 1/5 of the total sizable population of Switzerland. And in the recent Global Innovation Index, India's position is 67th and Switzerland's position is 1. This tells a lot of story and we can analyze it. We can write to the PMO, we can write to the Ministry of HRD, and we can inscribe ourselves, in fact, as to what is going wrong. Why is such sizable population not being able to contribute into research, come up with such kind of startups which can change the course of life and which can fill the gaps and provide solution to the questions of today, like it had never happened. Why? Because again, the thrust was in getting the degree. I started from something that read something very different. What was it? The purpose of life. And I said that the greatest purpose of life is to have the purpose of life. How would we define how to get the purpose of life, purpose of my life? It is because you have to dream, you have to catch hold of your dreams and pursue that dream which you really find it to be meaningful with you and something which really invigorates you, inspires you. Pursue it out for some time, and then what you'll be finding is that dream starts getting converted into a high definition picture, which we can call as goal, as I repeated. Now, a lot of people have goals. They pursue their dreams. But the problem with goals is, if you do not have a plan associated with your goal, it remains a wish. So a lot of people have wishes in life. They never have a goal. The very idea of goal setting is to have a plan. And the very idea of goal is to have dreamt enough and for enough long time to have a clarity that yes, this is for me. And the moment you have a plan, you need to be setting targets for yourself. A lot of people can make very good plans, but it never works. Why? Because you cannot set targets. What is the difference here? A goal is the end reality in your life which is going to happen one day as per your regards and destinations and likings and objectives. But you cannot reach the goal in one giant leap. So what do you have to do? You have to divide that goal in smaller segments. The smaller segments makes it more smarter and achievable. This is what smartness in the modern time, we are using all the gadgets and technologies. Why? It's basically a kind of augmented reality because it lets us do those things also which we could have otherwise done in 5 days in 1 day. Maybe by the evening time, if I have to do something, I have to book a table in a restaurant, I had to go to the restaurant, or maybe I had to make a call. Now I cannot make a call also. Why? Because his phone was not working. I have to book it online and I can do it. That really bought me some space and time. So I can travel some other distance in that space and time. So the moment I have a clarity of a goal, I have to set targets for it. And the moment I set targets, I really need to affirm it out. I really need to take action for those targets. To have a purpose of life is to have a dream and to convert it into a goal and to be able to set targets for it. And one day you'll be finding that if all those things are lying in one special line, then what will be happening is that your dream also could be realized like everybody has done in this world till now. It is only you will not be able to because you think otherwise or you don't think the way we have discussed. It is not a gospel truth what I'm talking to you right now, but then it is the only truth. It is the only thumb rule to success. This is a very, very important slide for all of us. Ever since we are born, the world around us, the people around us have been trying to make us somebody else. The quest of life is not in becoming somebody whom you don't know whether you should be becoming or not. Would you be liking in that particular respect yourself or not? But it is to be yourself. The ultimate quest of life is to absolutely be yourself. How could you be yourself? By recognizing who you are. As a student, as a degree holder, as a person who has immense opportunities, how would you do it? You will be getting a space based on one of these. Either because of your talent, or because of your ability, or in the end, if you don't have any of these, because of your skills. And some would be half talented, lesser able, but more skillful. So we'll be having a subset of all those threes, which will be leading the best talented person around. So talent, ability, and skill is something that actually asks us to always look inside us. And it is the property of keep looking inside us which gives a clarity of what makes us. And only if we understand what makes us, nobody should tell me what should I do in my life. I should be knowing it if. But the problem is, people win the war in telling you and letting you do what they want you to do because you have absolutely no clarity of who you are and you don't have your own purpose of life. The old scriptures have taught us a lot of things, and as a student of all those scriptures and speaking worldwide on them, this is one of the most symbolic to a student in India, at least. In India, there is a reason behind it. Vidya dadati vinayam vinayadhyati patratam patratvad dhanmapnoti dhanad dharmam tatah sukham. It explains a lot foray of things, in fact, which I definitely do not want to go into subjectivity of it. But it clearly says that education leads to happiness. We started on a particular slide with the story of John Lennon, what was happening in the United States. We are talking about what was written at around 2,500 years old back, or something which is 2,500 years old. Now we are relating these two things and finding it out that it says education leads to happiness. But the whole context of education has to be understood in a very different manner. It is education leads to happiness. So let your education not spoil you towards gaining the knowledge which you can get from anywhere. And any element of this word is worthy enough of teaching us something and giving us a light, showing us the way on which if we walk upon, we can just sit and think about it and something might pop up in our own minds. So education leads to happiness, but the whole purpose of education should be understood in layers. The first layer has to be education, the second layer has to be exposure, and the third layer has to be experience. Education alone will do nothing. If we as students again go on in the classes to sit in the back seats, then definitely it is not education, we are not getting educated. We are just living through our life, and that is definitely not. So it's not a moral science class though, but still, I really wanted to say that in perspective. This particular thing is very, very interestingly important. Very, very interestingly important. The same John Lennon, since I started the story from there, he said once that part of me suspects that I'm a loser, and the other part of me thinks I'm the God Almighty. And this happens with all of us. By the dint of being a human being, we cannot dissociate from this feeling. Why we cannot dissociate from this feeling? One moment we are very happy. Pal mein tosha, pal mein masha. Tola and masha, right? So what exactly happens over there is, this is a quest, this is a war between the two of us. The you, whom you know very well, and the real you, about whom you have no idea. All that knowledge that you have about yourself comes from all those things that you have historically done, and some feedbacks that you get from the people around you. But the real you, since you have never interfaced with that real you are unable to find out as to who you are and what is the individual space that you are coming here, that you are born with on this planet Earth. We all are from the same universe. We all are from the same, we are exactly an element from the same element. So we are all one. Why is it that somebody is able to do it and somebody is not able to do it? We have to win this war, which almost goes on within every year, every month, every day. Who wins in that war could be best understood from that story of cheetah and the heron. In the quest between cheetah and the heron, you understand what is the heron? The deer, right? The tiger and the deer. It is 99 times that the deer wins, because the tiger is running for his food and the deer is running for his life. You have to run for your life. The opportunity to get educated, the opportunity to have our 19th, 20th, 21st and 23rd year is definitely a very, very meaningful one. Why? Because the time is slipping at a faster rate than it used to be ever. Ramdhari Singh Dinkar wrote a very, very great line. In fact, I would really like to put in picture here. And then after that, in fact, we'll be open to questions, some of them from any of you who really want it. He said, "Yah janma hua kis arth aho, is जीवन में यह व्यर्थ न हो, कुछ काम करो, जग में रहकर कुछ नाम करो, न रहो न निराश करो मन को." So lead the way. Lead the way. See that you do something so that you exercise your best self. Your best self may not be matching with the average of the class. It hardly matters. It doesn't matter at all. You have to just be focusing upon your own best self. How would you be able to do it? Because you know who you are. And you'll be matching, all quest of your life effort should be to matching who exactly you are. And in the end, stay happy. Thank you. As told by the organizers, I'll be open to a couple of questions if you have any, with respect to whatever we have discussed till now. If you have a provision of a mic, that'll be doing, or there is a mic.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, hi.
So I have a question for you. You worked as a chief mentor at Startup Weekend IIT BHU.
Right.
Can you share your views on that?
Yes. So let me tell you what has happened after that. I have mentored all across India in around 40 odd colleges and universities and IITs now, and one IIM. In all these startups, what is happening is, the first slide that read is something which is very, 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 very important for all the entrepreneurs of the country to understand now. The ecosystem that has been provided by this new government is very, very enthralling and very, very inspiring also. The backed up money also is like something that really gives a catalytic advantage to that. But what happens here is, many people I have found, it is not something that is matching with their purpose of life. It was just an idea epiphany. An idea epiphany has a problem. an idea clicks, and it might click and go for further steps. A lot of people who have gone ahead with the startup, in a startup weekend of Google or anywhere else, they had a problem, most of them, almost all of them, barring very, very few, handful of them. And that was that it never matched their own purpose of life. They never knew. So if I asked them, what would you be like, how would you be sailing through the next year, the third lag, fourth lag? So they were absolutely clueless. And most of the companies which are actually dying their own natural death, unnatural I would say, it is purely because it is not matching with the purpose of life of the people who started that. So we need to be getting out because the world has changed. We do not need to only think about that, you know what, come up with something, make a huge noise about that, and get an inflated figure by getting some good CA and all, and then sell that company for a few $1 million. Dude, it is not happening now. People have really, really gone very, very smart, and I think we have to be finding a different way. If you have an idea, pursue it for some time. Give wholehearted effort, you die for it. Because if you survive, you'll be one hell of a person in this world. And if you don't, live a life which is different. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
There's this gentleman on the left-hand side of mine.
Hello, sir. My question is, so you are also the behavioral and aptitude trainer at IIT BHU.
Right.
So what role does this skill play in an entrepreneur's journey?
Skills do play a role. Why? Because post-globalization, we cannot avoid that. We, unfortunately, have become a very, very skillful world. The problem is not your not being very skilled, but the problem is that whosoever you are going to transact with in the outside world is primarily skilled or is going to be very, very skilled. So you'll be today not finding very skilled people whom you are transacting and traversing with, but the moment you grow, the growth engine will be taking you to a different quadrant. And then what will be happening here is that there'll be a huge difference between those people and you. To pursue an idea is not developing or shaping or honing your personality. Like I said, creativity, problem solving, decision making, critical thinking, these are not skills that are only associated with something called as a startup. These are something like a survival tool. And it has already been said that the coming word is going to be in living this particular idea of survival of the fittest. When it was said, it was not that meaningful. Today it is. So you have to be developing skills and every day doing that. And not just doing that, you have to be conscious of what skills are being developed and how it is being shaping you every day. I ask my students in IIT BHU only one question. You have to question yourself every night when you go back to home, go back on your bed to sleep, how this day was different from the previous day that you had spent. And how could you make it different the next day? Even if there is a one-word addition on the next day or this day, I think it is meaningful. It is not the quantity of something, but it is the awareness and consciousness of constantly providing or getting honed in skills. Right? Thank you. Any other one question? Because I have my worthy friend sitting there, in fact, Ashutosh. Right, yeah.
Good afternoon, sir.
Hey.
My name is Ritvik Shukla from United Institute of Management.
Right.
My question is that nowadays, today, people say that smart work is more important as compared to hard work. To become an entrepreneur person, what smart work is important or hard work is important?
Unfortunately, what has happened in the modern times, that we have started being too definitive. Too definitive. The problems with definition is that definition comes from all possible sources. And suddenly you find that there are millions of opinion leaders. You open Google, it will within 10 minutes confuse you more than what you actually wanted them to do with you. There is no substitute for hard work. And I think smartness is something that should again come from within. If you are talking in behavioral sense, it's a different thing. You have to be a Roman while in Rome. So if it is all about related to how should I behave when I go on stage, how should I behave while sitting on that side of the table when the interviewers are this side, that's a different thing. These are again all skills, nothing else. But if you are talking that smart work, it is to me nothing. The constancy of hard work makes you smart. That's it. Period. There's nothing else. Absolutely nothing else. The constancy of hard work, if you ensure, I think the world is soon going to recognize somebody who is very, very different. Why? Because of his perseverance and his mettle. Right? So focus, hata dijiye smart work se. Right? It is only one thing called as hard work. Smartness is when you get recognized. Right? Thank you.
Thank you,
So
sir.
the last question for
Yeah.
you.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Sir, as your director of time, I wanted to ask you that some of the students start preparing for IIT JEE from class 8 or 9. Don't you think it's too early for them, as they can utilize their time for developing other personal aspects,
We don't do
personality
that.
aspects?
We don't do that, thankfully. I don't know. Maybe I'll be refuting the claims of a lot of people from the fraternity. And I'll be breaking the hearts of a lot of people who started from class 8th. Andhra Pradesh as a state is a very different state. Now it is Andhra and Telangana, where people actually start honing the skills or maybe abilities or academic or whatever, in fact, right from class 2nd or 1st. They get into those kind of schools who ensure that we have an arrangement which will start training your child for IIT right from class 1. Holy Mother of Jesus, I absolutely have no idea how they can do this. We are again, I wrote something over there, it is the quest between becoming and being. The parents will have to soon realize that 80% of the students passing out from the best institutions of this nation with a BTech degree are never going to use their degree even once. The lower institutions will be using it more. Why? Because it is a passport to a job. And I told you, a degree could be a passport for a job, but may not be a passport for success, and definitely not a passport for happiness. The realizations are on, but I think it will take some more time before we realize that students should be given a chance, because again, the same John Lennon said a very, 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 very interesting thing, beautiful quote, that every child has an artist unless he is told he's not an artist. Thank you.